constantly fighting with yourself about money? No need, no need. We'll do it for you. I'm your host, Arka, and welcome to our segment, Rich or Regrets, where we find out if your next financial decision will make you rich or make you regret it. And in this episode, we'll be exploring a topic that many young Malaysians face today: financial independence or family obligations. Should young Malaysians prioritize personal wealth over family support? And in a rapidly evolving economy and society, young adults are often caught between the desire to build their own financial futures and the cultural expectations to support their families. And to further explore key arguments on both sides, we have two debaters here that will see if it's possible to balance these competing priorities. First up, the self-proclaimed certified financial prodigy. We have one here who advocates for financial independence. Now, one, can you tell us why you think that the young people should prioritize their own financial future?
Thank you so much, Arka. So, before we begin, I know this is going to be a really touchy topic. It's going to be a really good debate, that's for sure. But for me, I personally believe it's important for young Malaysians, especially those of us who are just starting out to work. We have to prioritize our financial independence first, because I firmly believe that focusing on building our personal wealth early, in our early years, it will help secure our future in the long term. It will avoid financial strain, and also ultimately it also puts us in a better position to help our family later on in life. Right now, when you don't have the money, how can you spend? But when you have built yourself a nice egg, then you can share the wealth with the rest of your family. That's what I personally think.
Thank you, Juan, for that. Next up is Pavi, who is all about supporting family obligations. You pretty much are a family-oriented person anyway, and you feel that financial success can't be fully enjoyed without ensuring the well-being of your loved ones. So, Pavi, can you elaborate further on this?
Okay, so many of us are getting it wrong. We think it's an obligation, but it is not. It is a necessity. And we can, build our personal wealth and also take care of our family at the same time. For me, family comes first, and who are we now without them at the first place? And how can we neglect our loved ones for only choosing ourselves to be in a better place? Yeah, so it takes two to tango, and there's a way to do it.
I think in your case, it's more than two that's tangoing. There's like 5 people tangoing there. Thank you for that, Pavi. And with that, let the debate begin. And let's move on to my first question to start things off. So, how do cultural expectations in Malaysia especially influence the balance between personal wealth and family responsibilities? Let's have Pavi start.
Okay, so many of us, like what I told you just now, we're thinking it's like an obligation, just like my opponent, but it isn't a duty, it's actually a sign of respect. And then it is also a core value nowadays in our communities, to be very precise, balas budi. Okay, they were forking out a lot of money for us, when we were growing up, and now this is
your chance to pay
our
back,
chance to return. It is by money, but for me, it's love.
So you're saying you don't just have to give financially to your family, there's other ways as well?
No, obviously financially, but because now we are talking about financially, right? But I'm not seeing it as in the form of money. Then it might find a bit difficult or anything for us. So for me, it's like in giving in form of love. It can be money, but it's like giving them love. Okay, you get what I mean? And also there's a saying, give out when you have more. So why not we start from home first?
Got it. One, what are your thoughts on, cultural expectations in Malaysia influencing, all this?
Okay.
If they want love, give them a hug. I mean,
it can be anything. It can be a hug, it can be a kiss, it can be a money.
So what you said anything but money.
Anything but money.
It doesn't have to
So
be
you're okay
money.
seeing your loved ones struggling?
It's not that I'm okay with seeing my loved ones struggle, but the thing is, there's always a certain amount that you can give.
Exactly.
Yes, but most of the time you still need to focus on yourself first.
We are not
It's not
saying
about
we
being
are
selfish.
neglecting our personal wealth here.
Some might argue that because you are just starting out, you have no commitments, no commitments, that you are able to provide for your family.
That can be true for some people, but most of the time, when people start out working, especially those young Malaysians right now, they might not have enough resources at the end of the day to help with themselves, to save for the future. Because the most important thing now is that we want to help build our future, build our wealth in the future so that we can provide more to our families. Right now might be not the time. Okay, sure, the family has helped out with our to get us where we are. That's fine. But then there are also some people who had to make it out on their own without the support of their family. There are people who had to go borrow from the bank, PTPTN, all that to study and everything. So the family did not have to expend as much. So now it's not about who gets what, when, or what. It's not like balas budi, you have to give back from karma or whatever it is. But it's the cultural expectations here that I want to focus and go back to. Okay. The cultural expectations in Malaysia, it leads to family support, yes, but there's always a limit. Okay, because it will affect your personal growth, it will affect your financial independence, and right now our generation, we're facing these different challenges and that our parents did not have in the past. We have got higher living costs, we've got tougher job markets, and also we have to save for the future. All right, so we need to prioritize that first. We need to make sure that we are stable, that we can support ourselves first. Because if we're going to support our family and focus on supporting our family and neglect ourselves, in the long run, how can we support our family if we ourselves are going to be struggling?
So your whole point, to summarize, is you're not prepared to look after someone until you can look after yourself.
Exactly. We need to first be able to look after ourselves. Then once we have built that stability in the near future, then we can think about, here you go. This is what I've been doing. I've been saving up so that we can have this in the future. So it's especially here in urban areas, right? There's a growing belief that young people, they need to take control of their finances to secure their future, which is true. But if we're constantly tied down by family obligations, the key word is obligations. It's not a choice. It's something that we have to do. If we're tied down by that from a young age, then it's a huge stepping stone, or a huge blockade. But you won't say a burden, but it's like it's an obstacle. It's an obstacle in a way.
All right.
Yeah.
But cultural norms aside, right? How about, let's say, focusing on personal wealth early, right? Let's say they do go your route. They focus on themselves, they build their wealth from the beginning. Will this lead on to better financial support for family members in the future? Do you think so, Bobby?
Yes, I think I'll take myself an example. Like, I became financially independent when I was 13. So now I get to, share my cake with both my siblings, and it's more like a system better now. Like, we help one another, and that has fostered our relationship as well. And at the end of the day, they say family is all we got, and blood is always thicker than the water. And do we get any satisfaction having so much of money and only for ourselves, but while our family is struggling? No.
Some might say yes.
Some might say yes, maybe my opponent, but not me. So if you asked me, coming back to the question that whether personal wealth will help with financial support for my family members, definitely. Like, we're in a good place now is because where I first planted my seed. And that my habits, my practices, now my siblings are carrying it. So it is going in a long way, and I believe that it will pass down to our kids one day as well, without neglecting our family members.
So you feel like starting from home, that's where you build your sense of community lah?
Yes, definitely. Everything starts from home.
One.
Then to the streets.
So how's your home life?
I'm not saying that I'm flaunting off my cash to the streets, okay? I'm focusing on myself. Okay, let me ask you one question, Pavi. Are you the eldest in the family?
No, second.
That's one thing that we also need to consider. I am the eldest in my family, so technically I'm the breadwinner after my dad.
Okay.
So it gets to a point whereby my parents taught me financial independence way early on in my teenage years. After I finished high school, I got a job to support myself and my
Okay.
extracurricular activities.
Okay.
All right? They taught me from a young age. You want something, you got to do it and get it yourself. So that's why I had to build my future starting from a young age. I built it to the point where by now I'm 31 years old. Yes, I have much better financial stability than when I was back when I freshly graduated from university at around 24, around that age, give or take. So now that's what I'm trying to say. I built that stability. I made sure that I had the financial wealth to give out to the family.
I understand what you're saying. Like, I'm not against that. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to, pick them up later when you are financially stable. It goes along the way.
So what you're saying
you don't
is,
like drop everything, drop the bags, and then just focus on yourself. And then when you're financially ready, then pick everything back. They're not an option.
No, but think about it this way, okay? If you prioritize building your financial foundation when you're young, you set yourself up for a stronger position to help later. Because if you've got nothing to give, how can you give? All right? When we were starting out working, fresh grad salary, let's, for example, 2.5. At that time, 2,500 living in KL, that is chump change. You literally can't get through a month with even enough savings for yourself.
so
And now
living
you
paycheck to paycheck lah.
living paycheck to paycheck, because you were still young at that time. You had to worry about your rental expenses, your car, whatever it is, and then your living expenses. At the end of the month, you've only got maybe about 200-300 left to spare. And what can you do with that? You try save, or you try invest. Do something with the money so that you can grow. Once you've saved up, maybe, as you grow older, you get better positions in jobs, you get a higher salary. Then you got to start thinking, okay, now I've got a little bit of stability, I've got a little bit left over, or, a little bit of extra
Leftover.
at the end of the month. Maybe let's go treat my family. Let's go have, take them out on a holiday. Because instead of having to pay or obligated to pay every month or something, why
It's
don't
not
you
an
save enough?
obligation.
Okay, you were
The
saying,
thing is,
Like, even with 2.5 salary, just 1% for your family doesn't hurt us too much.
or let's
That's
paint
what
a
I'm
different
saying,
picture.
to
You
simplify
painted a
it.
picture of someone that's hyper independent. Let's flip the switch. Let's flip the switch to someone that's more of Pavi's background, where they are very connected to their family, so they won't have to worry about rent because they're living with their family. So that's like at least 300 to 700 ringgit back in their wallet. So maybe because of her family obligations and the fact that they help her back, it cuts her some slack. Wouldn't you agree?
yes, if you are in that situation whereby you are staying with your family, or whereby you are in a relationship with your family whereby you guys have to support one another, give and take, all right, sometimes cook the meals and all that, then yeah, why not? Because of course now it's a service barter and trade kind of thing, right? If you have to put it in financial terms. But we are not talking about that situation alone by itself. We have people who are away from their families, people from Semenanjung, from Borneo side, exactly, coming to Semenanjung and working here by themselves. They got to think about their rent, they got to think about their expenses. Are you going to be, sending back money to your family back in Borneo or whatever?
You're not sending them like a suitcase of money.
I'm not saying.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
So I'm just saying, you send what you can.
Just something.
What you can, okay, understand. But the debate today is whether or not this obligation is better in the future, or whether it is.
I will completely disagree. I'm sorry.
You would still disagree because of the fact that you are currently in the situation where you are living with your family and you are
No, it's
supporting
not for
them.
the situation. It's just the necessity. That's how life rolls. Okay?
Okay, let's roll on to the next question. All right. Now, what are the potential financial risks or benefits of prioritizing?
I want to know this as well.
Okay, so Juan, take it away.
Okay, there are a lot of risks, okay, especially when the younger generation, those who are just starting out to work, if they obligate themselves to focus more on family instead of themselves, instead of, helping with their personal wealth accumulation, there are risks such as, what if you won't be able to pay your household expenses? What if about your investments for emergencies, your savings for emergencies? Your car breaks down. Oh no, I don't have enough money because I already gave it out to my parents, or whatever the case may be. You got to invest in your retirement as well. You got to build the wealth for yourself first, because you do not want to be in a state of vulnerability. Okay? When it comes to vulnerability, I mean, when we're young, we don't have a lot of money. We know we don't have a lot of money. So we have to build that money, build that savings, so that we can secure ourselves first. We need to make sure that we are secure, that we don't go bankrupt. And when we go bankrupt, how to support the family? We need to make sure that we have a steady income that comes in every month. We need to make sure that income is sustainable for us in the future. If there were any emergencies that were to happen, we need to be sure that we can overcome these barriers, obstacles, emergencies, without having to rely on our family. Because at the end of the day, you got to look out for yourself so that you can live longer to be there for your family. If you do not have that financial freedom or that financial stability, because you're focused on giving out your wealth or being obligated to help out others first, then at the end of the day, what are you working for? You gotta make sure, first and foremost, when you are settled, then comes your family. Number one priority is not your family. It can be a number two priority, but the number one priority, you have to live first. That's the thing. You have to live first. If you do not live, then how can you go to your number two priority?
Imagine how ugly it gets when it reverse, the action reverse. Like how, if our loved ones think of us that way.
I mean, if our loved ones, our parents have to also focus on themselves as well. They need to make a living, they need to make a future for themselves so that they can provide for their family later on in the years.
Okay,
right?
So I think I understand your point. Like you are saying, like, make a living first and then take care of them, right? But what I'm saying is you can make a living while taking care of everyone. Okay.
But there are limitations, all right? Because what if you're supporting your family, you could miss out on so many important opportunities for you to better yourself, to improve your financial situation for the future. For example, what about investing in further education? If you're spending out money, obligated to spend a little bit of wealth on your family, instead, why don't you go further your studies, get a master's or a PhD or something? That will
I'm not going to give my entire paycheck
I'm not
to them.
saying it's not your entire paycheck, but it's still a stunt. You still have to give something, and that could be limiting what you could potentially do with it. Because you could take the full amount, instead of giving it to your family, you could go further your education, or you can do some very important investments that could lead you to a higher income. That's focusing on yourself, getting a higher income, which is the ultimate goal, okay? Basically improving your living situations, your financial situation, so that your family can benefit from it in the long run. That's the thing. We do not want to live paycheck to paycheck every single, for the rest of our lives. We want to be able to live in a way where we do not have to worry about the paycheck coming at the end of the month, because we'll have something left over so that we can do something with ourselves. We want to go take our family to nice dinners, take them on holiday without having to worry about when's the next paycheck going to come in. That's what I'm trying to talk about.
That was the cons. What about the benefits, the pros?
Okay, for me, there is no risk, okay? It actually brings us benefit. It actually prepares us beforehand when one day when we have kids, partners, marriage, stuff like that. So if you're asking me if there's any financial risk prioritizing our family, no. It should be starting from home. It should be starting from young, and that's where we go all the way along with the values that we carry.
So
now,
you're saying giving money back to your family is not only a non-risk, it's an investment because it'll come back to you?
It's not that. It's actually preparing us that one day when we are married, when we have a partner, and when we have kids, we know that, okay, if this is, okay, in a way, you will know how to live within your means. You know what I mean? Okay, this is how much I have. When it comes to marriage, hook or crook, you need to do something for them. Am I right? When you have kids and all that. So that could start from your own home
So
by
you're saying
giving
early
your,
on training.
Yeah, early on training. Like just now one said, right, that like settle your build a good foundation first, and then we can give them more. Now, for an example, touchwood lah, okay, touchwood. We are growing up, and in the midst of growing up, we found out that our parents have debt.
Okay.
Are we gonna neglect them?
I feel like that's a personal question though, because some people might feel obligated to help their parents, others might not, because they're their own adults. So it was their choice to go into debt, no?
Yes, exactly. But the thing is, I feel like at the end of the day, it's about, like I said, family comes first. So if it's me, I would definitely help. I wouldn't neglect them.
You mentioned that, this is setting you up for your future, it's training ground for when you want to get married.
Yes.
But modern day Malaysians, there are a large chunk of them that do not plan on having the nuclear family dynamic. They don't want a family, they don't want kids. So would this benefit them, having family obligations, when it does not serve them any purpose in the future?
I don't see it as an obligation. I just see it as like a training ground for us. Like, if you know how to divide your money financially, or even helping people at a young age, and then that will go a long way. One day when you're married, or even when you're not married.
So how would it help someone that's not planning to get married? If you don't plan on having a family, you won't need to save for a family because you're not going to have one.
Then it's all for you. But at the end of the day, you still need to give to your elderly, right?
That's the question. Do you need to?
I would. If my opponent, I don't think so, he might.
I say work on yourself first. It's not about giving, okay? The question here is not about giving. Yeah, sure, you can give, but it's the amount you can give. Would you want to give them something small?
I want to give too, but you want to focus on yourself, then give. I am telling, I can give while focusing on myself.
You cannot.
I can.
You cannot.
I'm an example. I'm doing it now.
So one, you think that probably would burn out financially?
No.
Financially, it's not the financially savvy decision.
All right.
Oh my God. Okay.
Let's take a breather. Now, next question here. Should young Malaysians have a formal plan or agreement with their families, kind of like either a spoken or non-spoken contract with your families regarding financial contributions and how this could help manage expectations? Or should it be like an unspoken thing where like, I help them, they should help me, they should know, like it should be telepathic, so to speak? How about one, you start off?
Black and white.
You want it black and white.
Always black and white.
Jesus.
Black and white. That's how the world works nowadays, Pavitra. It's true. Yes, they're your family, but at the end of the day, black and white, it will help with a lot of things, okay? Because young Malaysians, we should consider having the formal plan or agreement with families regarding financial contributions, because you don't want to get up into an argument later with your siblings. Oh no, I contributed so much, I should be getting the house if my parents leave, No, you don't want that in the future. You don't want to have that fallout in the future because you've had it before, right? You've had that fight with your siblings or whatever the case may be. A family member goes, unfortunately passes away or something, and then you guys have to fight. Oh no, I contributed more, I should be getting this. Oh, you contributed this less, you should be getting that. At the end of the day,
there's something called will writing. Maybe we can invest in that, not something black and white with our family members.
A will is black and white. It's exactly what it is.
But not like how you mention it.
No, it's a formal
It can be done
agreement.
in a very fair way, in an equal way.
Which
not
is
like how
black
you made
and
it
white.
sound
No.
like.
The point is black and white agreement.
Okay.
A formal agreement.
I have a question then. Wouldn't you say the older generation would have like their own, doubts about setting things in black and white? Because they're like, we don't need to put things in black and white because we're family. Like, I didn't raise you on black and white terms. I didn't raise like, you need to get 9 A's, otherwise you can't live in my house.
Some families actually do.
Exactly. And
Some families actually do. Some families, they set that expectation. Of course, it might not be in a black and white, but they set that expectation for their children. And then your children, if they don't succeed, then there's something,
So it makes your relationship with your family very transactional, though, does it not?
It does. It does. Unfortunately, that is the way we live in this world. Yes, we transact our love for them in quantitative amounts. All right. It's. Yes, it might be a little bit heartless, but it's how the
Unnecessary
world.
cruelty.
It's how the world works right now.
Alright.
Okay, you know, similar with time. Similar with time, you can only give so much time to your family. You can only give so much time to your friends, your siblings, your loved ones, your partner. But at the end of the day, you still need time for yourself, which is a similar concept that we are exploring here, which is that of money. Okay, but the question that we go back to is the formal agreement, and
it
I
help?
think yes, it would help. Because then it's not about setting boundaries, but it's about managing the expectations and also preventing the misunderstandings that were to come if there was nothing in black and white or nothing formally agreed upon. Whether it's helping, with household expenses, contributing to your siblings' education, or, all those other things, supporting your parents and everything, you got to make sure that there's a clear boundary. What you want to contribute, what you can contribute in the first place, and then what your other siblings can contribute at the same time. It's all about getting together and making a plan so that everyone gets, a fair, it's a fair amount. It's not about, you don't want that misunderstanding in the future. That's the thing. The fallout from when it comes to money, there's always going to be a fallout in the
fair enough,
future,
fair
right?
So Pavi, one is saying things need to be in black and white. That way, everything is clear. I did A, B, C, D, so I don't need to help with X, Y, Z. So it does make the family dynamic, from his point of view, quite transactional. Do you feel like that affects family bonds?
Okay, first of all, we are not dealing with stakeholders. We are dealing with families, and we don't need agreement.
A contract with your father
or
and
formal
mother.
plan. I mean, when it comes to asset writing and all that stuff, yes, we can invest in this will writing. But when it comes to this groceries, rentals, utilities, we can just do it verbally. And also, it's love. You do this, I do this, and you're just going to spare 5% of your salary. For me, I just spend 5% of my salary lah.
That's still transactional.
And I think it's a teamwork. And when we win together, we build a happy home.
All right. Let's wrap things up. Things got quite passionate, but then
I'm very
that's
hungry.
the way things are with family. So it seems that both our debaters here feel a certain way when it comes to today's episode. So let's do a quick recap. Starting off with one who believes that Malaysians should prioritize financial independence, and he also feels that cultural expectations in Malaysia often emphasize family support. You got to give back to your elders, that sort of thing. But this can sometimes limit your own personal growth and financial independence. It will set you back in the long run. And one believes that focusing on personal wealth early can lead to better financial support for family members in the future. He's not saying don't support your family, he's just saying do it later when you're already established. And prioritizing family obligations over personal wealth can involve financial risks, such as missing opportunities you mentioned earlier to save or invest money instead. And by focusing too much on family support, you may miss out on important opportunities for career or financial advancement as well. Whereas Pavi, on the other hand, you advocate for the importance of family obligation, and you feel, or as Pavi is saying, it's not an obligation.
Yeah, that word triggers me.
Okay. So
responsibilities, maybe.
Responsibilities,
Yes,
sure.
okay.
So cultural values in Malaysia emphasize the importance of family responsibilities, and it is a core value in many Malaysian communities.
Yes.
Right? And by focusing on personal wealth, it might seem beneficial in the long term, but families often need immediate help. You never know when, God forbid, your mother gets into a car accident or your brother, touch wood. Accidents happen and families often need immediate help, not years later. So by, as you mentioned, having that training ground now, you'll be better prepared to help whenever possible. And prioritizing family obligations, in Bobby's opinion, can bring unique financial benefits through shared resources and mutual support.
Yes.
For example, you can live with your parents, and that saves you rent money. And the benefits aren't just monetary, right? Supporting family provides a sense of security and emotional well-being. You know, there's always someone that you can rely on. And vice versa, there's always someone that you are going to be there to take care of. And it seems that both sides here, they feel very strongly, right? They presented strong arguments, but it's up to you, our audience, to decide who won here. Drop a comment below and let us know who do you think made the better case. And of course, follow us on our socials at also on our website, KleverStock.my, for our social media channels. And don't forget to visit www.KleverStock.live to catch our live sessions from Monday to Friday, where we cover everything finance. So bye-bye, and go home to your cold, empty apartment or to your warm house with your family.
Bias!
KleverStock, the ultimate financial insight for everyone.